it's Lauren Perreault from RE/MAX with your weekly home update for the Portland metro area with data this time through the week ending July 7th, and that of course includes Vancouver, Washington, and the rest of Clark County. Last week in Portland metro, real estate prices were down, inventory was up, the number of homes that were new to the market was way up, and so were price reductions. However, some of this was to be expected, while others were unexpected. Let's take a look at the most recent statistics and trends. The average sales price was down about 2% from the previous week's pretty high number. However, the average still landed 1.3% higher than last year at this time. Last month, for the whole month, June 2024, ended up 2.7% higher than June 2023. Remember, I've been predicting about 4 by the end of the year. So far, July is tracking about 2.5% higher than last year, and that of course includes the entire Portland metro area, including Washington. Now, onto the supply numbers. The number of homes that buyers have to choose from is on the rise. Part of that is seasonal for our market, and part of that has to do with the really large number of homes that hit the market this past week. Part of the big jump in new listings might be attributed to being compared to the previous week, which was the week preceding the 4th of July, typically a very sleepy week in Portland real estate. So I'd like to see what happens with inventory over the next week or two before I become concerned about the rise in inventory and its impact on our market and eventually on sale prices. Demand was up from the previous week, but not as much as I was expecting. The number of purchase contracts agreed to by buyers and sellers was up, but you can see here in this chart that it didn't quite bounce back to pre-holiday levels. The number was also down about 15% compared to last year at this time. That's a big drop, especially when you consider that we've been outpacing last year's numbers in this metric for at least a couple of months now. It is interesting that when looking at the number of lockbox opens, that being our best measure of high-intent buyers out looking at homes with their agents, the number of lockbox opens was only off last year's number by a hair. So buyers are out there and they are active. They're just taking their sweet time with writing offers, partly because there's more inventory and they can look at more. Now, onto mortgage rates. Mortgage rates have remained stubbornly stuck at a best case scenario of 6.375%, which is the best rate I've seen advertised so far this week, and we have been there for just shy of a couple weeks. Most lenders are still coming in about 6.75% or higher. The stubborn rate that we've been stuck at has been there despite falling yields in the 10-year Treasury, which is one of our indicators of where mortgage rates are headed. Central Bank Chairman Powell and a couple of other Fed board members made reference to lowering rates before we reach that 2% inflation goal. I think that they're concerned that they wait too long, we might go into recession. And that's been a significant change from that higher for longer mantra that we've been hearing from them for many months now. This change in tenor does have the markets excited. Currently, the markets are anticipating a rate cut in September with a 95% likelihood, which is pretty good, actually a lot. But we have seen good odds for upcoming rate cuts evaporate in the past in a snap. So I'm going to believe it when I see it. Looking forward, I will be watching the inventory numbers very closely. We do have more inventory than last year. Not a surprise if you've been watching these videos every week. We have 30% more homes for buyers to choose from than last year at this time, which has been the case now for at least a month, going on close to 2 months. It's starting to feel like we're seeing some significant downward pressure on prices that we hadn't been seeing, and that's in our year-over-year numbers. I'll also be watching demand pretty closely. Interest rates this year are starting to dip below what we were seeing last year at this time, especially if the Fed takes some action. So I'm curious to see if that'll have a positive effect on buyer activity and maybe get some more contracts or more buyers off the fence and back into the market. If you have any questions or thoughts about any of this or want to know specifics about your neighborhood, please feel free to call me at 503-683-1885 or send an email to lauren@pdxhomesforsale.com. Subscribe to our newsletter and our YouTube channel, and make sure that you don't miss any updates. And please feel free to share this video or newsletter with anyone who may be concerned about the real estate market. Have a great week, and I'll see you right here next week.